Welcome back, everybody. Time for a little Electric Avenue update. Um, I guess I'm going to keep doing these little videos for a little while. There are some people that seem to think that there's some decent information in here. Uh, at some point you say, like, uh, what is it all worth? What's the point? And, well, I think reaching out to people, keeping them informed, that's got to be a good thing, right? And, I mean, I keep also harping on, I don't know why I keep talking about this, but the mask issue. I know a lot of places have said, like, we're going on the honor system, where we're sort of letting people who are vaccinated indoors be without masks. I mean, I've been vaccinated, as has my partner, but, you know, with the variant that's out there that they keep talking about and what we've seen happen in India, it's just like I feel like we can't be too careful. And with Record Store Day 2, Drop 2 coming July 17th, I feel like it's really important to keep us as a staff and all of our customers healthy so we can get through it and have a successful event. And I'm not saying, like, hey, after that, I'll take COVID. Not the case, but I think it's important to just kind of for just a little bit longer. And I've had quite a bit of like pushback now. It's starting to get a little tougher. I feel like it's harder getting out of the COVID situation in some ways than it was getting into it because now I'm sort of dealing with issues where people are being more combative on that issue. And I just wish that people would be a little more understanding. In general, a lot of people are, but there are some who just, they want to do what they want to do, and at the expense of others. I feel like, maybe if we just thought about each other's care and safety a little bit more, maybe this wouldn't be an issue. But is this where humans are in 2021? Probably. Anyway, enough of my social commentary. Um, so, Record Store Day Drop 1 was a very successful event. Thank you to all of you who came out and supported us. It was amazing seeing that many people in a line early in the morning for the first time since 2019 here. And we did everything we could last year to try and keep people as safe as possible. We probably went to greater extremes than a lot of stores did. So thank you for being so patient and bearing with us. And considering that, some people were probably a little averse to waiting in a line and stuff, I think that it generally went off without anybody feeling like they were in danger or having being in an aggressive situation or anything like that. It was pretty. I think people were just pretty happy to get back to doing something kind of normal for them, and I think it was successful in the way that it really helped the store out when we needed help, and I think what it's sort of showing is that in the future there's some talk about possibly splitting these up into more than just one day. And I want to put my 2 cents in and say I think that that's a great idea. I understand the whole like we want to make this an event day and whatever, but I think that this whole pandemic has really kind of made people reassess what helping the store is all about. And really, that's sort of about making sure that they're financially viable to be able to keep doing what they're doing. And it just makes more sense to me to not lump everything into one day. And for the store financially, the amount of layout that we do, and then the amount that the customers also are are paying out, it just makes more sense in a way that someone who's spending like already $400 or $500 does not want the extra $300 that they would be spending on another record store day all in that one shot. So choices anyway. But it was good. I don't know. I may talk a little bit about Record Store Day 2 here, but I kind of want to get through new releases because there are so many new releases. You guys, You had Record Store Day. I don't know if you've been watching our Facebook page, but it has been unreal the amount of stuff that's been coming out. And it might be almost too much to catch up with. So, speaking of Record Store Day, let me just first mention this little item, which is the Noel Gallagher piece that was supposed to come out on the June 12th Record Store Day. This is the colored vinyl version. There's no sticker to say that, but it is. Um, so these were supposed to be, they were a late announcement. They were supposed to be on the June 12th, and then they couldn't get them shipped to the US in time, so only England had them. Then they were going to put them on the June 7th or July 17th one. Then Noel and his team apparently didn't want to wait because they were releasing the regular vinyl in the US supposedly on June 25th. So they said just put it out on the 25th of June. We'll call it a Record Store Day release. But it's actually out on June 25th. So I will have some of these if you want to treat it sort of like an in between Record Store Day item. That's what it is. Basically, this is a collection of Noel's post Oasis material over the past 10 years. A couple new songs. So it's kind of like the best of. So if you didn't get those albums along the way, this might be a good way to go. And it's a cool colored vinyl pressing too. All right. Some other things that have come out box set wise. Ugh. The Black Sabbath Sabotage box set. All right. I had this in pictures. There's a live show in there, which I've heard is pretty amazing. So it's on CD too, but you know, we had Volume 4 as a box set at the beginning of the year, and that sold out, and then it became very hard to get. So I wouldn't wait on that if you're interested in those things. Those first 6 Sabbath albums are pretty iconic. Another one is the Frank Zappa concert, his last live show in the US. Uh, Great shot of Frank. Quite extensive sort of track listing. You can look it up online. He even does Stairway to Heaven and I Am the Walrus, Whipping Post, and then Ravel's Bolero. So, you know, he's doing Bar Talk and Dickie's Such an A-hole. You know, there's a lot of stuff on here, but it's also on CD if you don't want to have that vinyl set. Okay. So things that have just come out recently, I'll just sort of zip through these. The new Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. This has to be one of the best albums I've heard this year. Carnage. It was released digitally a few months ago. 8 tracks. It's sort of in the vein of the last 2 Nick albums, is a little slower. But I think it's got a slight more energy than those because there's more loops, drum loops that Warren Ellis is using, and it's really quite good. Nick has sort of become like the Dylan-esque poet laureate of this generation, I guess, maybe sort of in a more gothic sort of way. But another record that seems to be flying off the shelves is Mammoth WVH, Wolfgang Van Halen's debut. Apparently, he played almost everything on this album. Wrote every song. So sort of timing is interesting that, you know, his dad is now gone. Okay, so a bunch of other things. Taylor Swift's Evermore, which is out on green vinyl, limited now. Has Willow, which is an incredible song, I think. Don't quote me on that. No, I love, yeah, certain Taylor Swift stuff is really, really great. Wolf Alice, their new album. This one's called Blue Weekend. Let's see, Lucas Nelson, Promise of the Real. So guys that play with Neil Young sometimes. Oh, this record is just so heartwarming. Zapp and Roger. This is a best of. If you don't know Zapp and Roger, or Zapp and then Roger, they were sort of 80s funk soul. This is on pink, orange, and violet magenta vinyl. Has More Bounce to the Ounce, Do It Roger. The biggest Roger hits are probably Night and Day and I Want to Be Your Man. Computer Love is on here too. So They're kind of like the African American version of Kraftwerk, really, in some respects, mixed with Prince, probably. If you're a Fish fan, there's two live records that just came out, and they're on really cool colored vinyl. Basically, one is from 2011, one's from 2019. They're very long tracks. Each one is a side of a record. In fact, volume two is one track that's split over two sides. It's about 30 minutes long. So, Fish fans, don't wait on those because I have a feeling those are going to be sort of limited too. David Bowie, Man Who Sold the World, as a picture disc. This was the last American version of this cover. I think it was the third. Probably my favorite cover. I sort of like this better than the other images that were used. But anyway, it's a picture disc. There's a poster enclosed. Great album. Let's see. Aretha Franklin. This is a best of from 80s into the 90s. And you think, well, do I really need this? Because Aretha, I think more of her early stuff. But there was a lot of stuff that she did during this era. Besides having hits with like Freeway of Love, Jump to It, she also had, and Who's Zoomin' Who? Sisters Are Doing It for Themselves with Eurythmics, Jumpin' Jack Flash with Keith Richards, I Knew You Were Waiting with George Michael. There's a song with Elton John, Whitney Houston, Michael McDonald, Deeper Love with CNC Music Factory, A Rose Is Still a Rose. Lauryn Hill produced it, and Rolling in the Deep, Aretha's cover of Adele. So there's quite a bit of stuff there to kind of dig into. Let's see here. One that's kind of a cool box set is the Mike Cooley, Patterson Hood, and Jason Isbell live show from 2014 at the Shoals Theater. So sort of more of a box set situation. Four records, so it's around $50-$55. That's not too bad. Let's see what else here is fairly new. If you've been following Michelle Zauner's, I don't know if I'm saying that right, career as Japanese Breakfast, this album's been really quite popular. Jubilee, she's got a lot of Philly connections. And it's a very good sort of alt pop record if you're into things like St. Vincent and stuff like that. And she's also a New York Times best-selling author now, too, with her autobiography, which is being turned into a movie. Check that out. Rhiannon Giddens' new album, finally on vinyl. They're Calling Me Home. If you don't know Rhiannon, I mean, she's like an icon of Americana, really. Del Amitri's new album. Been a long time for them. Fatal Mistakes is what it's called. Those guys, Scottish, always wrote really great tunes. New Liz Phair, Soberish. Great name for an album. I can't remember who produced this. It was the same person that she worked on with Whipsmart. So, kind of Liz going back to basics, I guess. Gary Louris, formerly of Jayhawks. It's a new solo album. Some of these people have been quite busy during the pandemic just trying to like do recordings. New Crowded House record, Neil Finn, sort of on hiatus from touring with Fleetwood Mac currently. A lot of his family members worked on that record. This was totally unexpected. Lou Barlow, solo record. If you're familiar with, Sebadoh and I'm trying to think of his kids' band. Natural One was their big hit. Anyway, Dinosaur Jr. Lou's and Dinosaur Jr. Oh, Folk Implosion. It's on the sticker there. So anyway, if you're into Lou, hey, he's got a new solo record. They just put out a new Dinosaur Jr. record. So busy guy. Katie Lang. This is like, I saw this picture and I was like, ooh, she's looking fierce. And then I realized that this picture is 25 years old. And these were remix songs that she did in the 90s. They just sort of collected them and put them out as a collection, I think. I don't know if it's a contractual obligation or what. New Styx album. Tommy Shaw and JY. Obviously, Dennis is not part of this anymore. But anyway, that seems to be getting a lot of requests. Here's a name that you haven't heard in a long time, except in movie circles, and that's Danny Elfman. And wow, what a dark album this is. 37 years since he did something on his own called Big Mess. And it's sort of like dark Nine Inch Nails political commentary type sounding stuff. Uh, Great. Sharon Van Etten. This is a reissue of her album Epic 10. The first is just the original album, and then there's sort of a little essay on the back, and the second is a bunch of people covering Sharon's songs: Lucinda Williams, Courtney Barnett, Fiona Apple, Shamir, Idols. Check it out if you don't know that record. All right, back to some brand new stuff here. We've got the new John Grant, Boy from Michigan. Been waiting for this album for a while. John always brings the unique. If you're not familiar with the lead track from this, I'm trying to think of the name. It was something about being a boy, a baby. I can't remember. Yeah, something about the baby. Boy, that song is like, huh? Go listen to it on YouTube. Just Google John Grant Baby. All right. Mountain Goats. This is a new Mountain Goats record. This is the third in a year. This was apparently written and recorded before the other one that just came out. Limited edition, blue etched vinyl. 12 songs for singing in caves, bunkers, foxholes, and secret spaces beneath the floorboards, called Dark in Here. All right, there's a couple of jazz things on Acoustic Sounds that I think a lot of people are sort of waiting for. It's hard to get enough of these because they're so sought after now. But this is Oliver Nelson, Impulse 60 anniversary. This one features Bill Evans, Roy Haynes, Eric Dolphy, Paul Chambers, Freddie Hubbard. It's called The Blues and the Abstract Truth. The other big one is Sonny Rollins on Impulse. This is going to be quite popular, I think. Also, an Acoustic Sounds reissue. Blue Note keeps going with their reissues too, and these are newly cut Kevin Gray masters from the original analog tapes. You've got Jimmy Smith's back at the Chicken Shack, and Sonny Clark's Cool Struttin'. These are a little more affordable, and they sound really great from what everybody's saying. So, Miles Davis, this would be his last concert tour. This is in Europe. Kenny Garrett is on saxophone with him. It's sort of more Miles' kind of funky era, but I think for people who are into Miles, probably his live material in this era is a little more interesting than the recorded studio stuff. So that might be of some note for some of you. PJ Harvey, White Chalk, continuing her series of reissues. Her stuff it's been a really great series that she's been doing. And also then there's the White Chalk demos. I love this picture because it's sort of the album cover, but you can see how the studio surroundings are quite different. Alice Cooper, School's Out, being reissued, same kind of like rounded corners, same kind of fold in back, and there's no sticker, but I believe that the panties are included. So they should be for the price. It's not cheap. Jamma Rico by Rico. There's a couple of these coming out. If you're into like ska and reggae kind of stuff, Dick Cuthell produced this. Jerry Dammers worked on it. Robbie Shakespeare, Sly Dunbar, Sly and Robbie. Yeah, there's a lot of cool people on these records. So there's also been some specials and selector reissues out recently too. Check those out. Gentle Giant's Freehand. This is a Steven Wilson remix. Steven, you know, from Porcupine Tree and his solo career, plus How many other bands has he worked on? Yes, King Crimson, XTC. He's done a lot of remastering stuff, so that's cool. Spiritualized, Pure Phase, their sort of underrated mid 90s album. This is on Glow in the Dark vinyl. So if you like Spiritualized, you like dream pop, dream rock, these are cool. My morning jacket, it still moves, and Evil Urges. These are actually reissued on colored vinyl at 45. At least Evil Urges is at 45 for improved audio quality, newly mastered, and it still moves as remixed and remastered. Uh, Evil Urges is on cream colored vinyl with black blob, and it still moves as on golden smoke colored vinyl. They are going to be out on tour this fall with Brittany Howard. Etta James, this is live at Montreux years stuff. Uh, there's a CD of this too with many more tracks, but this does have Tell Mama, Damn Your Eyes, I'd Rather Go Blind, Come to Mama. Um, Strangely, it doesn't have At Last. Oh no, there it is in a medley. At Last and Trust in Me. So, there's a Nina Simone that's similar too. We haven't gotten the vinyl of that yet, but it's on the way. Jessie Ware, probably one of my favorite records of last year. This is What's Your Pleasure? It's a deluxe version. They added 8 more songs to it. It's like a mirror there. uh, anyway, that's a great album if you like sort of like kind of disco-y, but very sort of like tastefully done and not cheesy sounding in any way. Hiatus Coyote, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Mood Valiant is sort of like experimental jazz. Little bit of an electronic kind of bent to it at times. Interesting. The singer is quite good. Lucy Dacus. You might know Lucy from like Boy Genius with Phoebe Bridgers, but her new solo record, Home Video, that's being released. New album from Buck Cherry, they're still going. This one's called Hellbound. Couple more reissues. I know this is getting long. Queensryche's Empire out on vinyl again. Operation Mindcrime has not shown up yet, but it's on the way. I know a lot of people will be looking for that. Nine Inch Nails, Hesitation Marks, back on vinyl. Been a long time since that one's been in print. That's a pretty good record. There's some others of theirs that I'm like, where's Year Zero? We are not getting that. And then Downward Spiral is impossible to get right now. And anyway, I think there's been some like, come on, Nine Inch Nails. If you didn't get it on Record Store Day, Lady Gaga's Chromatica, the deluxe packaged version, will be available. It just does not have the yellow vinyl. It's black vinyl. Probably more attractive with this cover as black vinyl anyway. But it has all the magazine stuff and the booklets in there, which is cool that they're doing that. Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P. This is finally out on vinyl. Victory Lap. Gaspard Auger of Justice, solo album. Drifters Golden Hits, remastered. This is analog tapes in mono. So if you want a really good copy of that. And I'll wrap this up with 1,000 Homo DJs. Supernaut on purple vinyl. I don't know if this is official or not. I say that because it comes from Cleopatra and they're kind of hard to tell sometimes. But all right, I think that's plenty of information for this week. Like I said, there's a lot of new releases and there's more that I haven't even covered. So be on the lookout for not Record Store Day, July 17th. And I'll have some previews coming up about that when things start trickling in. I get more information. Go look at the list on recordstoreday.com. You can see what's coming out that day. All right, this is becoming a long video. Thank you very much for your time again. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all your support. You guys are the best. I couldn't do this without you, and this store owes you all a great debt of gratitude. So thank you. See you next time. Peace.